Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Brew Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin, and joining me tonight is my co-host, Hefty Duck. And like we always do, we always invite people to come on the show. If they come, that's okay. If not, there's always next time. On today's show, we're going to talk about some of our favorite Adam Fantilli moments from this past season. There were some good ones, and we are going to talk about it. I'm going to show some clips too. I got some fun hockey videos to share. And 3 years ago today, July 13th, 2022. So 3 years ago today is the day that Johnny Gaudreau signed with the Blue Jackets and changed the Blue Jackets forever in a good way. And we're going to talk about that. We got some hockey jersey concepts to show off from different graphic art designers and so much more. So welcome to the show, everyone.
Oh yeah, welcome and I'm just finishing up my social media posts here real quick for the show. If you two feel free to check us out. We have the Robo Buck. I don't know what that means, and I don't know if I should.
I know what that is. So that stands for, and this one belongs to the Reds.
Gotcha.
And the Red. So Marty Brennaman, who was a Reds radio legend, kind of like what the Guardians have with Hammy, he was there for basically almost 50 years, and Marty Brennaman called some of the biggest moments in Reds history, from their 2 World Series wins in the 70s. He called the World Series win in the 90s. Anytime like Joey Votto had a big moment, he was there, and that was his catchphrase. He said, and this one belongs to the Reds every time they won. And I'm assuming that comment happens because, yes, I am wearing a Reds shirt because I've been to 2 Reds games. Yes, this past Saturday and today, Sunday. So that's why I was wearing Red stuff. I'm on a Blue Jackets themed show, so you got to have Blue Jacket stuff. But the Reds there because I was at a Reds game. But anyways, if you want to leave a comment, you too could be like the Robo Buck and, give us a comment. And, we'll put it up on the screen and we'll talk about it.
Right. And as I was saying, feel free to check us out on any other social media place. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Our biggest platform is, of course, X, or Twitter, as I like to still call it.
Yep.
But yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks to our audio listeners. If you too would like to listen to the audio of our podcast, you can check it out anywhere that you can get podcasts. Google, Spotify, wherever, Apple. I don't know. I don't write this down, so I kind of forget sometimes. But wherever you get them. Anyway, yeah, we got. Can you?
Oh yeah, I got it.
You're good, thanks. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Maybe not quite as much as the last few weeks, but quick shout out to Denton Matejchuk. Happy birthday, man. I think he's 21. I don't know.
He's 20.
20? Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday to you. Don't party too hard. Yeah, as Kevin said, Johnny Gaudreau signed with the Blue Jackets on July 13th, 3 years ago. And recently, I believe it was Johnny Gaudreau's sister got married.
Yep.
That was the wedding that was postponed because of the accident last year that happened with Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. So that was really cool to see. I saw a video of Katie Gaudreau, formerly Gaudreau. I don't know what her new last name is, but she was doing the same dance that Johnny Gaudreau was doing at the wedding he was at, when he's on someone's shoulders and he's doing like this thing going on. And so Katie was doing that same dance. I love to see it. Love to see him celebrating and having a good time out there.
So
sure, it's never easy, but
first things first, I just like to say obviously it's 3 years since Johnny Gaudreau made the decision to sign with the Blue Jackets. I have to, like, I know it. If you like the Blue Jackets, you know about it, but some people don't know about it, which is just how big that moment was for the Blue Jackets. for Johnny Gaudreau to come out of nowhere to pick the Blue Jackets was so big, so huge, so positive that it changed the Blue Jackets forever in a good way. Because before that, the best from a, let's say, a PR standpoint or whatever you want to call it, the best thing that happened to the Blue Jackets that got a lot of people paying attention to them in a positive way was when they knocked out the Lightning in the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2019. That was really like the big moment that really put a lot of people paying attention to the Blue Jackets. Whoa, the Blue Jackets beat the Lightning. They swept them in the playoffs. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. And people really paid attention to the Blue Jackets because of that. There's other moments too, but that's really the big one that really got a lot of people to pay attention to the Blue Jackets. Johnny Gaudreau picking the Blue Jackets is that next big time moment where just about everyone was paying attention to the Blue Jackets because an outstanding player like a Johnny Gaudreau made the decision to pick the Blue Jackets when no one is thinking that the Blue Jackets are going to get Johnny Gaudreau. Even the Blue Jackets themselves, because if you've seen that behind the battle video that the Blue Jackets did around that time, 3 years ago, was the big news of the day is, hey, the Blue Jackets get Eric Branson. It's like, oh, that's awesome. The Blue Jackets defense wasn't very good that season, and they needed some help defensively, and Eric Branson just does just that. He's 6'5", 220, big, physical, kind of more of a shutdown defenseman, gets the job done. And that was the big news of the day. Hey, we got Eric Branson. And that was, awesome. And you're the Blue Jackets. You're feeling pretty good about yourself there. You got some help on defense and basically probably the best guy at free agency from a defensive standpoint at that point in time. And you're feeling good about yourself. You have a press conference. Everyone from like the Columbus media is there. And, Bob McCalligan, he's talked about this where his big thing of the day is, he had an interview with Jarmo Kekalainen at the time, the now former GM of the Blue Jackets, and got the brands and all this good stuff. And it was good day for the Blue Jackets. And then you think you're done for the day because everyone from the Columbus media goes home, the press conference is over, and everyone is getting ready to just go home for the day. It's like, all right, that's it. See you. Good day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. And then, as you see in that behind the battle video, Rick Nash just like quickly shows up to Yarmo's office where like him and JD and a bunch of other people are talking and says, I just got off the phone talking to Eric Branson, and he says that Johnny Gaudreau wants to come here. And you see in that moment that it caught everyone off guard, like oh crap. Like what do we do here? Like Johnny Gaudreau wants to come play for the Blue Jackets. Oh, okay. And it caught you off guard. You're shocked, you're surprised, and at that moment you don't know what to do, because at that point in time, you don't know if that's a real thing or not. And they even show this in the behind the battle video where you have Josh Flynn, one of the people who works for the Blue Jackets front office. He picks up his phone and calls Johnny Gaudreau's agent at the time and said, hey, if this is real and Johnny Gaudreau wants to come play for the Blue Jackets, we will talk. We're open to this and we will talk about this. And then that turns out to be true that, yeah, Johnny Gaudreau literally wanted to play for the Blue Jackets. And then you see him talk about it. They go back and forth in the video, and eventually they come to the agreement, which was the 7-year deal of just over $9 million that Johnny Gaudreau got to the Blue Jackets. And then you see in that video, one of the people in the front office, they called Todd Chirac, who is the big PR guy for the Blue Jackets. Anytime there's some sort of press conference that the Blue Jackets are doing, you see Todd Chirac there. He's the big PR guy. And they're calling Todd Chirac, and they're like, well, are you home? And he's like, yeah, well, have you been drinking anything? Because I guess that I guess he's a big, like cocktail and a bunch of, kind of a drinker kind of a guy from what you hear in that video. And he's like, no, I haven't had anything. And then that's when they say, well, we need you to get ready because tomorrow, if everything goes through, we're going to sign Johnny Gaudreau and we're going to have a press conference. And then you see it in the next day in the video, Johnny Gaudreau, he's flying, gets off a plane at the Columbus airport, and they pick him up and they take him to the press conference, and they show him doing the press conference and everything. And from that moment on, that was a big moment that changed everything for the Blue Jackets. It was that much better, and people think of the Blue Jackets in a much more positive way because of that. Because from that moment on, it was, wow, Johnny Gaudreau, he went to the Blue Jackets. That's awesome. Good for the Blue Jackets. Or he picked Columbus. Whoa. And just so much positive energy because of that. The Blue Jackets set a record for most season tickets ever sold in Blue Jackets history because of Johnny Gaudreau going to the Blue Jackets. It was that big of a moment that it changed Columbus for the better. Why does this matter? Because if you look at some of the free agent signings that the Blue Jackets have had in more recent years, like Sean Monahan or Isaac Lundestrom, that matters. Because if they could see that, oh man, a guy like Johnny Gaudreau, he picked the Blue Jackets, oh, that's cool. Well, if it's good enough for him, then it's good enough for me. And that makes a big difference because now you're going to have a much easier time signing free agents if you want to do that. And Johnny Gaudreau picking the Blue Jackets did exactly just that. If it's good enough for Johnny Gaudreau, one of the best players in hockey, then it's good enough for everyone else to come. There's so much positive things that come about this, and we'll talk more about this, but I'll have to duck in here because I've kind of gone on a little heater here for a bit.
That was a monumental moment for Columbus Blue Jackets. I remember watching the Behind the Battle and seeing everything that went on that day. When I first heard it, I was like, yeah, right, okay. And then I saw the news breaking, and I was like, oh, okay, this is real. And it's unfortunate that how the season went, the couple seasons he was here, but even still, you're right. What I think it did too was it made people stop and look at the Blue Jackets' future, because at the now was rough. Obviously, there was a losing record for a few years there, and it made people start looking at that prospect pool a little closer, at what Yarmo was doing a little closer, and really looking into the future of the team and deciding. I mean, looking like that Sean Monahan as well, hopping aboard. Ivan Provorov when to stay, and the signing of all these other guys too. That's they're looking at the future forward, because I think that's what Johnny Gaudreau saw in it too, because he was thinking about his own future too. I think it's obvious. I mean, he had a family. Columbus is a pretty nice town, like really nice city compared to some other ones. I don't know that they're busier. I think the taxes are friendlier here than up when he was up in Canada and stuff. There's stuff like that. So who knows? But like, we were lucky enough to see him sign for the Blue Jackets, and forever grateful that you chose us.
Right. And we've said this many times on the show before, but Columbus is really the place that if you got a family, you got a wife and a kid, or 2 or 3 or how many kids you have, Columbus is the place to be for that. It just is. It's perfect for that. It's just perfect. Good, good neighborhoods, and got some pretty, decent to good schools in the area. It's just a great place to be. And another thing is, you can have a nice night out on the town with your family, whether that be at a restaurant or you want to hang out at a bar or go to a store or like a movie or something or go to a mall. No one's gonna bug you. Well, maybe they'll say like hi or something, or maybe they'll ask you for can I get a picture or something. But generally speaking, that's not going to happen. You can have a nice night out on the town with your family, and you can just go do your job and play hockey, and you don't have to worry about some of these other shenanigans that you see in some of these markets, like in Toronto or New York or something like that, where some of these guys, they have to deal with dumbass shenanigans like that, where they just on your ass and just nitpicking at you for every single little thing you do. It could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, but just every single little thing they do, just nitpick, 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 nitpick. You don't have to worry about that in Columbus. You just don't. You can do your job. No one's going to be nitpicking you all the time, and you can enjoy your life. You can have a nice night out on the town with your family, and no one's really going to care. And I do think that did play a role in Johnny Gaudreau coming to the Blue Jackets. At that point in time, you had a wife and a kid was coming in September of that year. You want a place to where you can raise a family, do your job, and like no one's going to really, bug you. And that's Columbus. And Johnny Gaudreau picking Columbus, it really changed Columbus for the better. It just did. And if you're a Blue Jackets fan, you are so fortunate and happy that you were able to see a guy like Johnny Gaudreau play for the Blue Jackets.
Yeah. So moving on to the next thing.
So
what do you got?
Okay, so I got this. Oh, you know what? We're going to say this. I'm going to say this because I still got some other things to set up here, but we'll talk about this. So college hockey is about to get changed forever, and that's this: Penn State, a school that historically is known for football, and that's it. That from a sports perspective, to my
Aren't they
knowledge,
good at basketball ones?
yeah, to my knowledge, generally speaking, I don't think Penn State's good at any other sports. I could be right at that, right or wrong on that, but generally speaking, like Ohio State, they're known as a football school. But from a Penn State perspective, that's going to change forever. Why I say that? Because Gavin McKenna, who is seen as one of the best hockey prospects in years, made the decision to go to Penn State. Penn State essentially got their own version of a Johnny Gaudreau moment in the sense that a really good player kind of out of nowhere made the decision to go to a place that it's not the greatest when it comes to hockey historically. And a move like that is going to change Penn State forever. Penn State's also getting Blue Jackets prospect defenseman Jackson Smith, who was their first ever first-round draft pick that was committed to go to Penn State. Penn State has also, within the last, I want to say like 5 years or so, has really upgraded their hockey facility. It's one of the best, not just in the Big Ten, but in my opinion, it's one of the best in college hockey. So from Boomtown, Penn State women's volleyball is huge, and their football again consistently.
With your other comments soon.
So their volleyball, women's volleyball team is huge, but again, historically good at football. Why I bring this up? Because if Penn State, a school that and Penn State this past season, they're just coming off their best season ever in their college hockey program by going to the Frozen Four. Why I bring all of this up? Because if a guy like Gavin McKenna, who seems one of the best college prospects, made the decision to go there, when I know this for a fact that he, like Michigan and like Michigan State and all these other good schools were looking at him, and he chose Penn State. Wow, that is going to change college hockey forever, because don't be surprised if Penn State is consistently good at hockey now, because like the Johnny Gaudreau thing, guys will see this, say, hey, if it's good enough for him and Jackson Smith, then it's good enough for me, and they're going to go. I also bring this up because we're big Ohio State people, in particular the hockey. We talk a lot about the hockey program, both men's and women's, and we've shown some praise for them, and also kind of ripped on Ohio State because we wish that they'd be better at hockey from a men's perspective on a consistent basis. Like sometimes they're good, sometimes they're okay, not so much. The women's hockey team consistently good. They've been in the 4 straight national championship games, winning 2 of them. So, but we're not talking about the women's hockey team. We're putting them off to the side. They don't deserve the criticism. We're not going to talk about them. So my criticism is this. If Penn State, a school that's historically not very good at hockey, can put effort into their hockey program and get guys like a Gavin McKenna and a Jackson Smith to come, then in my opinion, there's no reason, no excuse like Ohio State can't try and put effort into it and try and get guys like that to come. Which will mean that, yes, you're going to have to put more effort into your hockey team, which will mean, yes, you're going to have to get better hockey facilities. You're going to have to do a bunch of stuff that historically, from my perspective, Ohio State is not interested in doing. They're, from my perspective, only interested in being a football-only school, and every other sport is just kind of thrown off to the side. Here's some scraps. Go fend for it. And maybe they have a good season, maybe they don't. But if a school like Penn State, who, from my perspective, is historically not the greatest at hockey, if they can put effort in their hockey team and get guys like Jackson Smith and Gavin McKinnon to come, there's no reason why Ohio State can't do that. They kind of had their shot with Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom. We've talked about this on the show that Aaron Portzline, one of the many people that in the Columbus media that write about the Blue Jackets, he's talked about this, that there were 3 Big Ten schools that were looking at Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom. Those 3 Big Ten schools were Michigan State, Michigan, and Ohio State. But ultimately, knowing what we know now, Ohio State was not really in the conversation because we played it on our show last week. Caden Lindstrom was asked, why did you pick Michigan State, when he's talking to the Columbus media. And basically what Caden Lindstrom said, I'm paraphrasing it, but basically he said that it came down to 2 schools, Michigan and Michigan State. And he picked Michigan State because he liked the facilities, he liked the coaches, the players, just the atmosphere, and just how they run their program like an NHL team. And again, Michigan State, we put it on the show, but look up where Michigan State plays for hockey. It's outstanding. It's world class. Awesome hockey facility. So like Michigan State, they've made the decision, and of course Penn State too, they've made the decision to pour more effort into their hockey team, and it's benefited them. I wish Ohio State would do that same exact thing. But as of right now, from my perspective, they're not really interested in that. They're just okay with just being good at football, and that's it. And everything else, well, who cares? And if it's good, if it's not, if it's good, okay. If it's not, oh well. I guess I would like to see Ohio State be consistently good at something besides, football, and the women's hockey team is consistently good, but I would like to see the men's program step it up. Be like the women's team, be consistently good, and start getting some top tier talent to come to your school. Because that would be cool. We could say, hey, that guy's really good. Oh, cool. He went to Ohio State. You can't say that. You just can't, unfortunately. You just can't say that. You look at where the top players that the Blue Jackets have gone from colleges. It's all the Michigan guys. It's Adam Fantilli. It's Jack Johnson, Kent Johnson, Zach Wierenski, Cam Atkinson and Johnny Gaudreau. They went to Boston College. That's where you get the top guys. Schools like that. It'd be cool if you could say that about Ohio State, but you just can't, because from my perspective, Ohio State is not really interested in being anything other than just a football school. It's truly amazing that Ohio State women's hockey team has been good as they've been good as they have been over this more recent stretch here, where they're consistently good and being in national championship games and winning 2 of them when Ohio State doesn't really pay attention to them. So that's why I bring this up. It's like, if a school like Penn State, that historically is not the greatest at hockey, if they can get a guy like a Gavin McKenna and a Jackson Smith and put more effort into your hockey team, you can do it too, Ohio State. That's all I have to say for now, and we'll get Happy Duck in here.
Oh, that's quite all right. I don't have much to say, but I wanted to talk about this comment real quick.
All right, boom.
Boomtown. He says, "Hey fellas, well, one, thanks for joining us. If you two want to leave a comment, check us out on YouTube. You can leave one on Twitter as well. Make sure you do it on the actual stream though, so we see it. I have a question for you. What would you say is the closest player comparison for Fantilli based on how you see his career playing out?" It's a really good question. So I was doing a little digging around in some stats and whatnot, and while I know that Rick Nash played wing, I mean the early seasons point totals are comparable. Obviously we didn't get the full season from Fantilli last year, but second year in, he's not topping over 100 points right off the rip. He for sure has that in him. So, man, I think because he missed so much of his first year, he's such a hard one for me to judge, like, the future of him. Obviously, he's growing. In some ways, the way he behaves on the ice, he reminds me a lot of Boone Jenner. I mean, I know I'm comparing him to direct people on the team who he's probably influenced by, I would imagine. But, man, yeah, and seeing him at Worlds, it was cool or whatever. That was 2024, 25. But yeah, so this last season, Adam Fantilli had 82 games played. So he played a full 82 games, 31 goals and 23 assists for 54 total points. And a little bit of penalty minutes in there, nothing too crazy. And what I saw this past year was him growing stronger on the puck and being dominant with the puck. I mean, of course, the first player we all want to say is, Connor McDavid, or he's going to be like Ovechkin or Crosby or something. And I do believe that we're going to see that. I think that they're going to be careful with their development of him too. So, man, it's just hard for me to predict. I would like to say, though, he reminds me of Boone Jenner and Rick Nash. And both those players did turn out to be very good for the team and the Blue Jackets in general. What do you think, Kevin? Because this will kind of lead us into our next segment here. Then, too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Honestly, the Rick Nash thing is really not that far off. Only slight difference is Rick Nash was a winger and Adam Fantilli is a center.
Right.
But if you look at Rick Nash, he was a big dude that was really good on offense, could score goals and put up the points. And he would use his size to his advantage to, let's kind of bully people and get in front of the net and get to areas that other players could not get to. Kind of that power forward style. And when you look at what Adam Fantilli did at Michigan, because I remember this, when the Blue Jackets picked Adam Fantilli the night of the 2023 NHL draft, the first round at least, you watch the clips of like what he was doing at Michigan, and a lot of it was he was just using his size to just kind of bully people and just get to areas that other people probably weren't getting to because he was just able to use his size to his advantage. And then speed, his just hockey IQ that Fantilli had watching those clips was just off the charts, just ridiculously good. And if everything goes well, like most people think it's going to go, myself included, the Blue Jackets are probably going to have the best center that they've ever had. And it's a small sample size. We've only seen 2 seasons of him so far. But right now, that's looking like what he's going to be. Because for most of the Blue Jackets' existence, their center depth has been awful. It just is. That has been an issue for a majority of the Blue Jackets' existence. They could have had, you could look at their team, hey, they got good defense, or their goalie is good. They got some good wingers, but they go, ooh, that's center depth. That's not very good. And in some ways, they were able to find ways to win games and do the best they can with that center depth and get to the playoffs and stuff like that. One of those times was when they won 16 games in a row during this 2016-2017 season when center depth was okay at best, but they did the best they could with it, and they did good. But then when you go in a playoff series against Pittsburgh, when they have Crosby and Malkin,
right?
That's where it makes a big difference in the series and why they eventually win that series and why the Blue Jackets unfortunately lose that series. Because yes, you have good players that can change a game for you, that you win because of those guys. But if it comes down to who's your center, and if the other team has Crosby and Malkin, and you have guys that are good, but they're not to the level of Crosby and Malkin, that's where you lose. Really, the best center depth that the Blue Jackets have ever had was the 2018-2019 season, when they had Matt Duchene, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Boone Jenner, Riley Nash, Brandon Dubinsky. That was the best center depth they've ever had, and that is a big reason why they were able to beat the Lightning in the playoffs. Because essentially, you could put Dubois or Matt Duchene on the first or second line, and then you could bump Dubinsky or Boone Jenner or Riley Nash to your third or fourth line, and all of a sudden now you have a really good center depth. There's many reasons why they won that series, but that's a good reason why is they had good center depth. And then ever since then, their center depth kind of went back down to being not very good. And now you finally have a guy like Adam Fantilli who projects to be that top and elite first line, second line center that you've desperately needed for years, and you finally have that. And then you throw in Caden Lindstrom, who again is projected to be another top end elite first line, second line center talent. And you combine that with Boone Jenner and Cole Sillinger and an Isaac Lundestrom, and now your center depth is looking pretty good. So that's what I see out of Adam Fantilli there. And another thing to go with the whole Rick Nash thing is that Adam Fantilli is only one of 2 players in Blue Jackets history that have scored at least 30 goals in their second NHL season. Adam Fantilli and Rick Nash, the only 2 players in Blue Jackets history who can say that they've scored at least 30 goals in their second NHL season. And again, am I saying that Adam Fantilli is Rick Nash? No, no one can be Rick Nash. Only Rick Nash can be Rick Nash. There is only one Rick Nash, one of the greatest players in Blue Jackets history. There's only going to be one of them, and that's Rick Nash. There's stuff that only Rick Nash will be able to do for the Blue Jackets. What I'm saying is, with the question from Boomtown is, who's someone that you think he's like? To me, Rick Nash, except Adam Fantilli's a center. But it's a similar thing. Good on offense, big, physical, and so much more. And one of the clips from Adam Fantilli's goals I'm going to show, we've showed it on the show before, to prove his kind of like physicality, is that the game against the Capitals, Adam Fantilli starts the play by hitting a Capitals player in their Blue Jackets defensive zone. He hits him, the puck pops loose, and then he passes the puck, and then eventually the Blue Jackets march down the ice, and then Adam Fantilli is the one that finishes the play because Kent Johnson passes it to Adam Fantilli. Adam Fantilli shoots and scores. So I'm going to show that clip, but when you say it, I think it's probably Rick Nash. You could make other arguments for other players as well, but if I had to take a guess, it's probably Rick Nash. Hefty Duck, you got anything to say about this?
Just going on to the Boomtown's next comment, do you think that Fantilli has goal scoring ceiling similar to Nash? I think he can go through it. I really do. I think that he can be better. No, to be fair, if he's a center, I would hope that he has a shit ton of assists too.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think that he has a ceiling very similar. And you know, while Kevin was talking here, I went over to YouTube and I was just watching a couple clips of Rick Nash, young Rick Nash, and just watching him play, I can 100% be like, oh yeah, Fantilli could do that, and I wouldn't be surprised if he outdoes it.
My answer to this question from Boomtown: do you think Fantilli has that goal score ceiling similar to Nash? But yes, because Adam Fantilli, ridiculously good at Michigan. He won the Hobey Baker Award, which is basically the Heisman Trophy of college hockey. Also, he did something that hasn't been done since the 90s, which is win the Hobey Baker Award as a freshman. Generally speaking, that does not happen. Generally speaking, you do not see freshmen win the Hobey Baker Award. But Adam Fantilli did that, and that was the first time since the 90s that happened. So there's that. And again, you watch the highlights of what he did in Michigan. It was just goal after goal after goal, and then assist and just putting up the points. And then look what he did with the Blue Jackets this past season. As the season went along, he got stronger and stronger. He played so much better. Yes, that had to do with the fact that Sean Monahan unfortunately got hurt to where the Blue Jackets had to throw him in a position that maybe they didn't want to do, but they kind of had to do it because realistically they had no other choice to do that. Because, you're not really putting anyone else on the current roster in that spot. It had to be Adam Fantilli. But when Adam Fantilli took over that first-line center spot that Sean Monahan did, it was so amazing and outstanding. He really took it to a whole new level. He really stepped it up. And by the end of the season, Adam Fantilli has 31 goals. And again, I said this earlier on in the show, but Adam Fantilli is one of 2 players in Blue Jackets history to have at least 30 goals in his second NHL season, Rick Nash being the other one. So if you can score 31 goals in your second season, and you're the second guy in Blue Jackets history to score at least 30 goals in your second season, that tells me something that you're pretty special, you're pretty good. You have the potential to be even something better than what we think you are. And if you're in that category with Rick Nash, that seems you're pretty good. And yeah, you can have that goal ceiling scoring ability that Rick Nash has. I think he can get there. He absolutely could be a 30 to 40 goal guy if he keeps going. He's at least a 20, 25 guy, but if you get 31, you probably can get at least 30 to 40, a year. Just really good from, Adam Fantilli.
Yeah. Boom said, great analysis, guys. Thank you. Thank you for the question. We appreciate it. Speaking of Adam Fantilli, what do we got today?
We got some clips that some of my favorite goals that Adam Fantilli scored from this past season. So again, this is the goal I was talking about, where it's against the Capitals, and we'll back this up because he was playing. But it's against the Capitals, and this shows what Adam Fantilli can be because he literally asserted his dominance on this play. He starts the play by putting a big hit on a Capitals player, and then the puck pops loose because of that. The Blue Jackets are able to get the puck. They're able to get it out of their defensive zone. They eventually march their way down into the offensive zone. Puck goes to Kent Johnson. Kent Johnson passes it to Adam Fantilli. Adam Fantilli shoots and scores. So Adam Fantilli starts the play, and he ends the play. So we're going to play this clip, and I'm going to pause it at different times and show what I really like about this play. So there's Fantilli right there. He's going to lay a big hit. Boom. Sit your butt down. All right. Okay. They got the puck out of their defensive zone. They're going into the offensive zone. What I really like about this play is Kent Johnson. He's really good at passing the puck, but this just shows how good he really is because this is a tight window right here. If he passes this wrong, it's getting picked off. It's going the other way because it could get picked off here. It could get picked off here. But he's able to squeeze the puck through over here, and then Adam Fantilli shoots and scores. So, again, Adam Fantilli starts the play with a big hit, and then he ends the play by scoring a goal. That's the kind of a player that Adam Fantilli can be, using his big body and physicality to his advantage. And you'll see here. Look, here we go, and boom, big hit. And then he's going to start the play. Okay, goes into the offensive zone. Kent Johnson gets the puck. Boom, shoot, score. That's one of my favorite Adam Fantilli moments from this past season. So, Hefty Duck, get your thoughts here.
I think this is a prime example of what we were just talking about with the whole Nash thing. Just keep in mind, Fantilli is 20 years old here. So the size and muscle will just come even more in the future. I think that's one of the biggest catch-ups from going from where he was at in the collegiate level to the NHL level is everybody out there is just as fast and just as talented as you are now.
Yeah.
And a lot of those dudes are bigger than you now. Whereas in that league that he was in, that was how he remained dominant. So, you know, what's nice to see here is that he's able to do that. Like right here, boom, he lays the hit. Now, dude had his head down. He shouldn't have. That was kind of on him. But his first thought is get the puck. It's and then there at the end too, he has a little bump with was that Brady Shea?
Yeah.
And had a couple words with him, but he scored the goal. So Shea just kind of skates away. What are you gonna do, man? You blew it. And I just love to see that he doesn't back down. And this is where I also see the Boone Jenner in him, is his just tenacity, never backing down from whatever. And I think that he was told to back off a little bit, like don't be so physical.
Yeah.
At one point, because you know, he can't get. Well, I don't want to see the dude injured, but I doubt the coach does either. So, love to see it though, man. Can't wait to see some more like it.
Yeah. And so that was pretty good. So we're going to finish this out and then we'll move on to the next thing. So that was cool. So next up, we're going to find, I got to find the next clip. I got to set that up here. But, but I really liked what Adam Fantilli did this season. He really stepped it up, because that could have gone the other way. You know, Sean Monahan goes down, and then you get Adam Fantilli, and he may have been he could have gone in there like, oh boy, this is not good, where he may have been not ready for it, which could have ruined his development, and that could have hurt the Blue Jackets season. Instead of talking about, hey, we're a team fighting for a playoff spot until game 81, it could have been, well, the Blue Jackets are probably not making the playoffs, and, you know, who they got picked like 6? Oh, who are they going to pick there? That wasn't. But instead, because Adam Fantilli's play really stepped it up when the Blue Jackets needed it, it showed that they have a just awesome, bright future, and it's just awesome. So that is really, really, really cool. So the next goal, this one, right where is it? Okay, this one right here. So this one is against Nashville.
Please, our screen hasn't changed here.
I gotta change it first.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. You know, the bingo card is still empty.
I know, bingo card. I know.
It's empty.
I know. This time I was not going to let that happen. But anyway, so what I really like about this play right here, it shows Adam Fantilli's hockey IQ here, because Blue Jackets have the puck in their offensive zone, and Nashville tries to get it out, and they can't get it out. So then the Blue Jackets just grind on them, and they get good puck movement, good passing plays, and then eventually they score. And Fantilli, he sees this, and he's hiding in the background, because everyone is not focusing on him. And then he sees that, and he just kind of slowly goes into a quiet area, and then he's wide open. He's going to shoot and score. So Fantilli gets it up to Matejchuk. Matejchuk on the Boone Jenner. We got, what is that? There's Kent Johnson. And this is what I mean. Everyone is paying attention over here. No one is paying attention to Fantilli. But Matejchuk sees that, and he quickly passes it over to Adam Fantilli, who's kind of right here. No one's really paying attention to him, and he's going to shoot and score because of that. Bam, score. Because awesome high hockey IQ there. on that play. Everyone is paying attention to everyone else. They're not paying attention to Fantilli. Got good puck movement. There's Fantilli. Everyone's "Ooh, Mateja's going to get the puck." You see this guy right here. He's trying to get in front to block the shot. Instead, he passes it to Fantilli. Fantilli, boom, shoot and score. Nashville's goalie had no chance on that one.
And you say Saros is really good. That's a good goalie, but honestly, though, too, I mean, Nashville's defense here was, I mean, I got to praise Blue Jackets, but I got to rip on Nashville a little bit here, too. That their defense was so lackadaisical that it almost looks like the Blue Jackets were on a power play. But that's part of these guys being able to do what they're doing. I mean, it's not like the guys on Nashville aren't NHL athletes. They're pretty damn good. But here, just finding them sitting on their heels, passing it into the back door there. Just what I like to see is their hockey IQ, because that's something that when you're younger and you don't have the grown man muscle and build you're going to have, that you can still do, is just be in the right place at the right time. It's not just about where am I going to pass it? It's about where am I going to go be, like, if this goes to the goal. Like in this situation, like Fantilli had the mind, and it was probably coached to do this, and remembered it very well. Because he just kind of coasted backwards into that spot right there. Boom. And that looked like almost a set play in a way, but it just unfolded naturally on the ice. So I don't know. Props to KJ and Fantilli. I hope I get to say those names together for quite a while yet.
Well, there is reason to believe that because, again, boom, Fantilli, wide open. No one's paying attention to him. Great hockey IQ to get into that spot, shoot, score. But that last little stretch of the season, like late March until like April, it was Boone Jenner with Adam Fantilli and Kent Johnson, and they showed awesome chemistry. One of the best lines I've seen all season long with the Blue Jackets. And we've obviously just played it on the show, but that goal that Kent Johnson had, where he squeezes it, where Kent Johnson squeezes it through a tight window and is able to get that puck to Fantilli, it shows what awesome chemistry he has. Another goal the next day against the Capitals in Washington. We played this goal on the show before, which is Kent Johnson. He's right in front of the net. And you're thinking, oh, right in front of that, shoot. You got an opportunity, shoot. He doesn't shoot it. And I'm thinking, oh, God, what are you doing? Why are you passing that? Good opportunity right in front of the net. But Kent Johnson has this like really good hockey IQ and passing ability that he can figure out where guys are without even looking. And that's what happened on that play, because Kent Johnson, he's right in front of the net. You think he's got a good opportunity to score. You think he's going to shoot it. He doesn't. And he does this like quick no look backhand pass thing that was really cool. And it goes to Adam Fantilli, who's wide open, and he shoots and scores. Those are just some of the examples that show that what kind of chemistry that Adam Fantilli has with Kent Johnson. Small sample size, so we'll see if that continues on to next season. But it looks like you have something there, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes for next season and if they continue that. And I am of the belief that the Blue Jackets will continue that. So it's great hockey IQ and chemistry that they have there.
Yep. That's what I'm looking forward to it. Because the only thing too, the only limitations here for these guys, because they're so good, I love seeing their chemistry together, is the fact that the league is on notice now. The cat's out of the bag, so to speak. As you know, guys who have been watching the prospects going up through their ranks and getting onto the team and whatnot. We know how talented these guys are. We know what they're capable of. And this next season, I think was it Elliot Friedman that said they're not going to be able to sneak up on anybody this next season.
Yep.
They're not going to be able to because the like I said, the league's on notice.
That's
So
right. That's right. Elliot Friedman did say that the Blue Jackets are not going to be afforded the opportunity to where they think teams will just, take it more easy. That's not going to happen this time.
right.
Teams are like, ooh, we're playing the Blue Jackets. That's going to be a good game there. We better be ready, because if we don't, we're going to lose. They're not going to have this thing where, teams may or may not take them seriously. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but which may have led to some teams getting smoked, because the Blue Jackets had multiple games where they just smoke a team. Maybe that has to do with the fact that maybe they didn't take them as seriously as they should have, or it could have been that, they did take them seriously, but it just wasn't their night that day. It was just, hey, the Blue Jackets just played a better game that day, and, stuff happens. But Elliot Friedman is right that the Blue Jackets will not be able to do what they did last season, where they can just go into games and play games and not expect teams to take them as seriously as perhaps they should, because that's gone. You can't do that anymore. This is a new challenge starting this season, this upcoming season, which is, what do you do when teams aren't going to take you as easy as they used to, when teams are going to take you more seriously? That's going to be a tough challenge. I think they can do it, but it's going to be tough, because a lot of this comes from it. They're probably not thinking you're going to be as good, and then you surprise them. But you can't do that anymore, because teams are going to be expecting more of you. Like, ooh, Blue Jackets, this is going to be a tough game. We better be ready, because if we're not, we're going to lose. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes and how the Blue Jackets handle it. I think they have absolutely the ability and capability to do such a thing, where they can handle it and do a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, we got another comment here from Josh D. Savino on YouTube. He says, a random question, fellas. With Mara going off the board so early, do you think many other clubs took a legitimate shot at attaining him? I know the Jackets showed interest. Love the show. Well, thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. It's a fairly good question as well. So, personally, what I think is that the Blue Jackets, what I think happened is Mitch Marner's agent was firm on the price from the get-go. And I think that whittled down some teams right away, because sure, many teams were going to offer a lot for him, as were the Blue Jackets. I mean, obviously, they ended up getting rid of Gavin Brindley, in a trade for Coyle and Wood. But so, like, they were obviously willing to wheel and deal a little bit. And I just don't think many other clubs were. I'd say I got the most, man, like 5 teams, like would have been able and willing to pick them up, because some teams wouldn't have been even able with cap, and then some teams just wouldn't be willing. But what do you think, Kevin?
I can tell you this, that the Blue Jackets are very much interested in getting Mitch Marner, because you can go back as far as 2009, in the summer of 2019, when the Blue Jackets tried to get him. They were in the process of getting a package together to where they would use that to get Mitch Marner. But in the end, Toronto shut that down. So there's that. They were very much interested in Mitch Marner back then. And I do believe that they were also interested Now in 2025, that was a thing. They were interested back in 2019, and I do believe that they were also interested in Mitch Marner in 2025. The only slight difference is I think that the interest was not as big compared to other teams because, again, I'm not saying this to be rude or disrespectful towards Mitch Marner, but the reality is offense was not an issue for the Blue Jackets this season. They were good at scoring goals, top 10 in scoring, one of the best 5-on-5 teams. Their home power play was really good, over 26%. The Blue Jackets scored 6 goals 15 times this season. So this isn't to say that you wouldn't want to have a Mitch Marner on your team. You would. If you had that chance, you would take that. But when you're good at scoring goals, getting a guy like Mitch Marner is not exactly your top priority. What is your top priority is you need help on defense, and that has been proven on what Don Waddell has tried to do so far this offseason by trying to get a Noah Dobson. That didn't work because, well, the Islanders were just being greedy, way too expensive. We've talked about this on the show, but essentially the Islanders wanted one of two things. Either A, they wanted the 2 first-round draft picks and Dmitry Voronkov and a prospect, or B, you wanted 3 draft picks, which would have been your 2 first-round draft picks and another draft pick, plus Dmitry Voronkov. And at that point, no thanks. That's just too expensive. You're just being greedy there, Islanders. So then that didn't work out. And then obviously they tried to get Rasmus Anderson out of Calgary, and he didn't want to negotiate a contract with the Blue Jackets. So there was some interest there, but you can't make someone negotiate a contract with you if they're not interested. So there's that. And then I know, and I think, okay, well, what about Aaron Ekblad? Well, he signed with the Panthers. But I do believe if he didn't sign with the Panthers, the Blue Jackets would have tried to get him. Then there's Vladislav Gavrikov, an awesome defenseman for the Blue Jackets. And again, I am of the belief that if he didn't sign with the Rangers, the Blue Jackets would have tried to get him. But he went to the Rangers. So then you get Ivan Provorov to a 7-year deal, which had to be done. A little long, but sometimes you got to do it. But still, you get an awesome defenseman for the Blue Jackets in Ivan Provorov. He's big, he's physical, block shots, grinds it out. He's a tough SOB. A perfect example of that is where he hurts his thumb really bad in Vancouver, where he gets whacked into the boards, and he hurts his thumb, and you think, oh, God, that hurts. Like, he's going to be out for a bit. But nope. Just the tough kind of a guy that he is, comes back the next game against the Jets in Winnipeg, and he's fine. Like it never ever happened. He just, popped the thumb back in. Most people, if that happened to them, they'd be done for a bit. Not Ivan Provorov. Because that's just who he is. He's just tough. Really, really tough. So, again, no disrespect to Mitch Marner. The Blue Jackets would like to have a guy like that on your team. But, when you're really good at scoring goals, offense is not really your top priority. Your first priority is you need to fix the defense. And the Blue Jackets have tried many options, not from a lack of effort. It just didn't work out. But they get Dante Fabro to a 4-year deal and Ivan Provorov to a 7-year deal. So it's not completely bad. They're good options that they did there. Good choices. And thank you for the comment. Good to know that you like the show.
Right. So, on to the next kind of piece of news that just came out literally, I think, today or maybe yesterday. And that is Blue Jackets goaltender prospect Pyotr Andreanov has signed a 5-year deal with the KHL team. So me and Kevin are here today to tell you why this is nothing to worry about and why that this was not out of nowhere. And it's a pretty simple thing. They
Yeah.
knew about it. It's
Yeah.
not like you think that they didn't know about this.
Yeah.
I just want to point out one major. This is my only point here. Okay, so Jack Greaves is in his first one-way contract year. He played in the AHL, which the AHL is below the KHL in terms of skill level. The KHL is the top league in Russia. It's somewhat comparable to the NHL. So, he spent how long did Jet Greaves spend down there? I don't know. He's 23 years old. He's going to turn 24. When is his birthday? March 30th. Okay, so he'll turn 24 next year. But anyway, the point being, Andreanov is 18 years old. After a 5-year contract, he's going to be 23. And after that, I mean, he won't be playing the AHL, basically. He'll be playing a little bit tougher of a league with the KHL. Then hopefully, in those 5-year time, he's ready to go, ready to cook. So that's just it, especially with goalie prospects, man. They come through the system when a little older. But this isn't anything unfamiliar to Don Waddell. From what I understand, I think it was like 14 out of 17 of his last picks when he was with Carolina were Russian picks. So
yeah, look, this was known. This was a given. Don Waddell has talked about this, that they knew that if they picked Pyotr Andreanov, that this was a possibility that something like this could happen, that he could sign a contract and be there for 3, 4, 5 years and then eventually come over. That's exactly what happens. He has a new 5-year contract to go play over in Russia. And I'm okay with that, because the KHL is basically seen as, the NHL version of the Russian version of the NHL. So he's going to be playing against the best of the best in Russia. And if you look, we'll just use the Blue Jackets here as an example. Vladislav Gavrikov, Russian. He took his time in the KHL over in Russia. The Blue Jackets tried to get him to come over in 2017. He would have done that. But the reason he didn't is because he wanted to play for Russia in the Olympics in 2018. And so because of that, he made the decision to stay back in Russia. But then he comes over in 2019. His first ever game is in the Stanley Cup playoffs against Boston. And then the following season, 2019-2020, he comes over to the Blue Jackets again. That's his first full season with the Blue Jackets. And he's awesome. One of the best defensemen that the Blue Jackets have ever had, especially that season. Him and David Savard were an awesome defensive pairing to go with Seth Jones and Zach Werenski. That's a big reason why they're able to beat Toronto in the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2020, because of the really good defensive pairings that they had. Seth Jones, Zach Werenski, David Savard, Vladislav Gavrikov, to go with their strong defense that they had that season. Kirill Marchenko, he's another guy. He took his time in Russia. But you know what? When he came over from Russia, he played he played a little bit in the minors, only because it was just to get used to the smaller rink surface, the smaller ice surface. That's the only reason they had him do that. But he was essentially ready. But at the time he came over here, he played for the Monsters and he plays for the Blue Jackets. He's good to go. Danil Tarasov, it's a similar thing. He plays in Russia for a little bit, goes play for the Monsters for a little bit, plays for the Blue Jackets. He's good to go. So what I'm trying to get at, Artemi Panarin, He started out in Russia, went to the Blackhawks. Obviously, he goes to the Blue Jackets. But it's the same idea. He started out in Russia for a little bit. He took his time over there. And when he was ready, he was ready. He came over and he was fine. He started playing good. What I'm trying to get at here is that if you're a Russian and you play over in the KHL in Russia, generally speaking, you're going to be fine when your time is ready to go over to play in the NHL because you are essentially playing in the Russian version of the NHL. You're playing against the best of the best, bigger, faster, stronger players. And that because you're developing in that environment, you're going to be ready for when your time comes to go play in the NHL. It's the same thing with the goalies, too. You look at some of the best goalies that have happened in more recent years, they're all Russian. Sergei Bobrovsky and Andrei Vasilevsky and so much more. Pyotr Andreanov, he was seen as the best European goalie in the draft, and they really won the Blue Jackets over when they were at the Combine for Russians down in Florida. Like, yep, this guy's good. We have to pick him if he's there. So to close this out here, and then we'll get to Hefty Duck.
I have a question for you. I don't want to close it out yet.
Well, okay.
Continue.
But we'll talk. We'll get to Hefty Duck. He can share his things. But it's okay. It's okay to have these guys in Russia for 3, 4, 5 years because they're going to develop, generally speaking, they're going to develop really good over there. And when the time comes to come over to the NHL, they're going to be ready.
So what do you think of the criticism that the Blue Jackets need help right now, not then? Obviously, you're not going to draft an NHL-ready goalie, of course. No. But, looking at maybe bolstering the defense even a little more and then looking at throughout the NHL or something like that for a goaltender. Or it looks like it's going to be Merzlikins and Greaves. What do you think?
Both those things can be true at the same time. Yes. In a perfect world, it would be helpful that the Blue Jackets get some help now, whether that be goalie or defense. Yes, that is something that they need. That would be beneficial to them. But at the same time, if you're in the draft and you get a guy that is seen as one of the best goalies in the draft, you take it. You don't say, well, we're not going to take him because it's like 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. We need help now. Like, no. If you have that chance to help out your team in the draft, you get a guy that's going to be projected to be good, is seen as one of the best goalies in the draft, you take it. You set yourself up for the future. Yes, I know it would be better if the Blue Jackets got help right now. But as for right now, that's not happening because the goalie options, it's very slim. There's not a lot to go with. And that the options that are out there, they've been taken. So maybe you can get a guy or two in free agency or a trade or something, but realistically, as of right now, that's not going to happen. As of right now, if the Blue Jackets had to play a game today, it's going to be Elvis Merzlikins and it's going to be Jet Greaves. That's how it is. Now, it's not a completely bad thing because, again, we have seen both Elvis Merzlikins and Jet Greaves do good for the Blue Jackets. It's not like you're stuck with two guys that completely suck and haven't done any sort of good. That's not the case. You have guys that have shown that they can be good. Elvis Merzlikins has done it. Jet Greaves has done it. The only issues that you have with them, from Elvis Merzlikins' standpoint, is that if you like the Blue Jackets and you've been watching games, you know this, that there are times where Elvis Merzlikins is not good. He has games that are not good, and he lets in a goal or two that he probably shouldn't, but he doesn't but he does it anyways. And sometimes that hurts the Blue Jackets, and that's the reason why they lose. And there's been times where that happens, but yet the Blue Jackets have been able to get away with it and still find a way to win that game. But that is an issue. And then there's the other side of that where Elvis Merzlikins can be lights out, ridiculously good, just play awesome, and he's the reason why the Blue Jackets win that game, because he just played so good that he gave the Blue Jackets a chance to hang in there, and when their chances arrive, they shoot and score, and then they're able to win because Elvis Merzlikins played really good, and he was able to keep the Blue Jackets in the game because he made a big save or two. So it's there. He just has to be more consistent about it. And that's, we need more good Elvis Merzlikins. It's there. We've seen it. We just need more. With Jet Greaves, yes, he's played good. We've seen him do it for the Blue Jackets. We've seen him do it for the Monsters. Jet Greaves is a big reason why the Blue Jackets were fighting for that playoff spot until game 81 of an 82-game season. He is a big reason why the Blue Jackets went 6-0 in their final 6 games of the season. He is a big reason for that. Your issue and your concern is that he's not played a lot of games yet. We don't know what it's like for him to play a full NHL season as a backup or a starter, because that's a whole new ball game. Sure, you can be good where you play here, you play there, like Jet Greaves has been doing for the Blue Jackets. But can you do it more consistently on a consistent basis? Because if you can, that's awesome, and the Blue Jackets have something. If you can't, oh boy, the Blue Jackets they're kind of screwed there. Because as of right now, they really don't have a lot of options when it comes to goalie right now. They just don't. And that's why I get a little hesitant and I have a little cringe, a little concern when I see some Blue Jackets fans on Twitter or Facebook or just real life just automatically want to just give it to Jet Greaves just like that. That is, you can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that.
It's a small sample size.
It's a small sample size. You don't know the full picture. You just can't give it to him just because he's played some good games here.
Just because you saw a guy letting some goals, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
he's improving. Merzlikins it did improve.
Yes, Elvis Merzlikins got better this season.
His glove side's improving.
It is. He is a big Elvis Merzlikins is a big reason why the Blue Jackets were where they were, which is fighting for a playoff spot until game 81 of an 82-game season. Don Riddell said this perfectly. I'm paraphrasing it, but Elvis Merzlikins won more games than we lost, meaning that generally speaking, he improved and he was good. So I'm just not ready to just give it to Jet Greaves yet, because it could go right, but that could absolutely backfire. And then you're stuck in the same spot where the Blue Jackets were this season, which is, for the most part, they were playing Elvis Merzlikins. And they didn't play Danil Tarasov a lot. It's just that Danil Tarasov, he had his good games where he won, and the Blue Jackets, there were games that they won because of Danil Tarasov. But the issue was the Blue Jackets felt like when Danil Tarasov was in there, for the most part, it wasn't good enough, and it put them in a position to where they felt like that they had to play Elvis Merzlikins like 99% of the games. It would have been nice if the Blue Jackets could, didn't feel the need to where they had to do that, where they feel like, you know what, Danil Tarasov, here you go. You can have this game. Okay? You can have this game. You can play this game. But for the most part, they did not feel comfortable doing that, which is why they had to feel in a position to where you're kind of throwing a Hail Mary. It's like, well, we hope that Jet Greaves guy works out. Here you go. I hope it works out. And so far it has, but I do not agree with some of these Blue Jackets fans that I'm seeing. They're like, I just give it to Jet Greaves. He played good. It's like, no, we can't do that because it could work or it could backfire. And then you're essentially in the same situation, which is what you were just in, which is you had to play Elvis Merzlikins just about every game because that was really the only good option that you had. And I don't think that the Blue Jackets, this isn't from a lack of effort. They're trying. They want to find different options that there's really nothing there. And when it is what it is. And if I had to take a guess right now, as of July 2025, it's probably going to be Elvis Merzlikins to start off the year. And then if Jet Greaves gets going, then Jet Greaves probably is going to play a lot more games, and maybe he takes that starter role to where they feel comfortable enough. And I'll say this, is the book is now out on Jet Greaves. You can go back and watch the video of Jet Greaves. You can see what is he bad at? Where does he give up goals? What is he good at? And now teams are going to figure out a way to counter Jet Greaves. What are you going to do now that you know that teams know what you are now? How are you going to counter that? Because the goalies that can counter that, they're good and they stay in the NHL. The goalies that, they start off good, but then once teams know what your game is and who you are, and you can't counter that, you don't last long. Because teams see through your game and where to attack it. If you can't stop that, you can't counter that, you're done. You're not going to last long. And then you'll be, either playing in some other league or not playing hockey at all because you just couldn't counter what other teams are going against you because the book's out on you. And that's what I see with all these people. Oh, give it to Jet Greaves. No, we're not there yet. Maybe we will be there, but we're not there yet. So as of right now, it's probably Elvis Merzlikins and it's probably Jet Greaves.
Right. Yeah. So I'd have to agree there too. So we're kind of getting here towards the tail end of everything. Was there any other topics that you wanted to touch on yet?
Yes, we are going to.
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
hockey jersey concepts.
I forget.
Gotta show that off. So, here we go. So, first things first. These particular jerseys, Hartsey wanted to talk about, but he wasn't
That
able
is
to.
our friend who comes on the show, not the hockey player, just so you know.
Right. Our Philadelphia friend Hartsey, good guy, he posted this and he shared this with us, and he wanted to come on the show to talk about it. He wasn't able to come on the show today. Maybe he still could come on, but right now it doesn't look like it. But he wanted to show these jersey concepts and talk about it. So essentially, this is from PHG Concepts. This is a dude. What he does is he takes the Blue Jackets outdoor game jersey and he makes his own style, his own take on that, and makes a blue and a red. Obviously, the difference is that there's no chevrons on this, and then he takes the third jersey striping pattern and he changes the colors from dark blue, light blue, and that vintage looking cream to a red and the silver and the white. And then he uses the outdoor game logo, the big cannon. And then on the blue jersey, it's white numbers outlined in red. And he's really going with the cannon theme because he has cannon shoulder patches, stars on the sleeves, and the kind of like that old school, string thing that you see on many old school looking jerseys. And it's a similar thing with the white jersey, it's the outdoor game logo, blue numbers outlined in red, and you have blue with basically he changes the colors of the third jersey stripes. So on the white, it is blue outlined in silver, outlined in red. It's cannon shoulder patch. It's blue shoulders. Both jerseys have a red collar. So overall, I think this is pretty good. It's his PhD Concepts take on a home and away jersey for the Blue Jackets, using parts of the Blue Jackets outdoor game jersey combined with third jersey and other stuff.
Yeah, I like this a lot. This would have been really cool for the outdoor game due to the kind of, scarlet and gray striping I see there on the home jersey.
Yeah.
That would have been really cool. Overall, solid design. I like that he uses the number 86 for his jersey. Yeah, overall, solid design. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. So next up, okay, so essentially it's the third jersey. He just makes some slight changes to it, and the slight changes are this: the logo has the state of Ohio in it with a star in the middle for Columbus. He puts stars on the sleeves. That's normally not there for the third jersey. There's a little green collar on the inside, so
The
that's
little Ohio down there with the star out in the middle of it where Columbus is at.
Yeah,
That's cool.
the state of Ohio with the star, that's normally not there, but that's cool. Then stars, little green inside, but so basically he makes some slight changes to the and then the third jersey, the normal logo is not outlined in blue, but he put outlined in light blue, so it's pretty cool. I like it. He just made some slight changes to the Blue Jackets third jersey.
Oh yeah, I like this one a lot. I mean, probably the same as last one, 8.5 out of 10. I like the blue and the cannon. I like the coloring of the cannon patch on this one a lot. It's probably what sticks out most to me.
Yeah, so let's see here. What's this one? Oh, that ugly. It just
I saw this one. I was like, this is a joke, right?
yeah,
I saw someone Photoshop this onto Marchenko, like actually Marchenko.
Yeah, just no. I'm sorry. This is just no. Just no. I'm sorry. Just no. This is the first two ones.
Yeah.
Those
I love
are
that you're having fun. I love that you're,
Yeah.
having fun out there doing your thing, but this is not it, bro.
So
I'm
this one
not
here
gonna
and this one here. That is it. So
Damn. I got one.
yeah. Put it up on the screen.
All right.
So
all right. So this is a concept by Burkus Circus Studios, at Matt_BC Studios. And this is a 25th anniversary style mock-up of a combined Columbus chill with the CBJ on it. So I'll describe this to the audio listeners a little bit. So it's a dark blue jersey, and if you guys remember how the Columbus chill had like those retro kind of just pointy stripes, kind of like coming off the edge of the logo and whatever. And so this has those kind of over the right shoulder and on the right arm coming across the body a little bit. Now the logo, the CBJ, it literally says CBJ. It's very similar to the original Chill logo as well, with some of those, once again, like the pointy stripe things going through the C and the B there. So I saw this, and Burkus Circuit Studio said that this last chance for a big comeback. Vote for the Chill and Scream till your brain hurts. So I don't know if that poll is still going on, but check it out over at Jersey Nerds, at the _ Jersey Nerds. These guys do Burkus Circus does a lot of jersey concepts and other things like that. So check them out. And I just wanted to share this because I thought it was cool as hell. I mean, this to me, if they did this jersey, make it 250 and I don't know, make it whatever. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I'd buy it.
So, all right. Okay. So, I need you to start talking about some stuff because I got to go plug in my computer here and then I'll be right back.
Oh, word. Yeah. So I'm just gonna use this time to plug the book that Kevin always recommends, and that is the Chill Factor. Since we were just talking about the Columbus Chill, I think it was the Chill Factor. Was the title, was it? Yeah. Yeah. How the the team went from minor league to all the way end up. Suddenly there's an NHL team in Columbus eventually, and very neat little book. Has a lot in there about the city of Columbus and about the founders of the Blue Jackets as well. So just to tie it in there with a little chill stuff.
Yes.
But other than that, that's about all I have.
Okay. So, yes, we've plugged this book many times on the show. Go check out the Columbus Chill Factor book. It's a fun book that tells, like Hefty Duckett said, it's a fun book that tells the hockey history of Columbus, and which includes the Columbus Chill and how Columbus got the Blue Jackets. So it's a cool book. You can get it on Amazon and a bunch of other places. I've read it. It's a good book. You should check it out. Last big thing for me, I'm currently, getting it set up is I gotta put it up on
for
screen.
audio listeners. Kevin's wearing a cool little zipper jacket with the Blue Jackets logo on the front.
That's right.
It's Adidas jacket, like a track jacket kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is it windbreak material, or is it softer?
Oh,
like
it's kind of like in the middle.
Like sportswear.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So like this is like I've worn. Let's just say it's like a good like jacket to wear in like the fall time where it's kind of cool out.
Yeah.
But not exactly like you wouldn't if it was like December and like really cold out. You wouldn't wear this just by itself. But like if it's like October, November, and just a little cold, you could wear this, and it's awesome. And I got this on one of my trips to Columbus years ago at the Blue Jacket store, and also I was at a Reds game today, and it's like, well, I was wearing red stuff, but like I don't want to. I'm on a Blue Jackets show, so like I don't want to be wearing red stuff. So like I specifically bought this on my Cincinnati trip, so like I could have something Blue Jackets to wear for the show. But just a little thinking ahead there, a little behind the scenes of for getting ready for the show.
Kevin's in a hotel room.
Yeah, I'm in a
secret.
Yeah, in a hotel room north of Cincinnati, because on a Cincinnati trip to see 2 Reds games, and that was awesome. Go Reds! They won both games yesterday against the Rockies, 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th. They came back to win it in the bottom of the 9th. It was cool. And today they won it 4-2, which was also awesome. And the Guardians they're doing better. So you know what?
Too.
So you know what? Ohio baseball, Reds and the Guardians are doing better, and that's great to see. So let's just keep it going.
Yeah. They're giving me a heart attack, man. I swear, these guys.
But anyways, so I've done street hockey tournaments, and this is the one I did in June of 2017. And here's a clip from one of those street hockey tournaments that I did, which is fun. Go back.
I mean, you can, but it's not good.
pretty nice little setup across the two tennis courts.
Yep.
Pretty dope. This is kind of a hard one for me to describe to the audio listener. Sorry. I do link the YouTube through our podcast.
Yep.
You can at least hear the wind and the clashing of sticks. But essentially, this is a ball hockey game played on tennis courts, going across them horizontally. And goals on both ends. Everyone's in tennis shoes. And with some, I mean, I see that guy wearing shin guards. I probably would be wearing shin guards. I don't want to catch a stick to this one, really. This guy's got a breakaway. Oh, stopped it. So there's a gray team and there's a red team playing right here. I feel like I would definitely get tennis ball to the mouth if I wasn't wearing a helmet. Can you Michigan a tennis ball? Like, I'm sure someone out there can, but I sure can't. Goalie, stay back in your crease. Get in your crease. Well, it's no NHL, but it's pretty good. Shoot. How long is this?
It's 5 minutes. We're almost done. No one scored in this period. It was good defending.
I am having a hard time distinguishing what you're saying between the video playing. Sorry for just playing wind noises there, audio listeners. We don't have much left, you know. If you're listening on audio, it's kind of rough right now. But, yeah. Well, while playing, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll finish this video out, and I got like one more thing, and then we'll be done. So we got one more thing after this. I'll talk, and then we'll be done. I'll pause this just for a second, but that right there is my Uncle Doc, who I've talked about many times on the show, very much into hockey, and he was a basketball ref. And then he got into hockey, he did hockey reffing for my street hockey tournaments, and he dressed up like a ref, and he really got into it, did a really good job, and people really liked it. And it was a reason why people like coming back to my street hockey tournaments, because Doc liked being a ref, and they liked that he was a ref, and really got into the street hockey tournament. So there's that. Almost done.
Sorry if anyone can hear my phone going off. It's the MLB draft today, and apparently I didn't realize I had the notifications turned on for the app. Oh, there's the goal horn.
That's the end of that. So if you want to see this, we'll put the link in the description. But if you want to see it, Kevin Valentin Street Hockey June 2017 clip. That's where you can find it on YouTube. So check it out. So, this is one of my favorite things. I mean, the last one I did one of these was in 2018. No, actually, no. The last one I did was 2017, actually. Because 2018, I planned on doing one, but it was just ridiculously hot and would have been not safe to do it. And then ever since then, wanted to do one and just haven't gotten around to it. But this is one of my favorite things I've done over the years is have street hockey tournaments during the summer. It gave some people something to do, and I expanded the love of hockey to everyone, which is awesome. So, overall, this is a fun hockey video that I wanted to share it today because, well, it's July, and honestly, there really isn't a lot to talk about in the Blue Jackets world. But the rules are we got to do a show once a week. Those are the rules because, Hefty Duck, he's got a cool setup with inside the rink that help out our show. And with that rule that we have with inside the rink is we got to do a show once a week. And because of that, inside the rink helps out our show by doing a lot of cool stuff, including, Hefty Duck has taken advantage of this where because of inside the rink, they've allowed Hefty Duck to go to some Blue Jackets games and cover them and be a part of the Columbus media. And there's other stuff that they've done for our show too that would not have happened without inside the rink. So that's part of the deal. We got to do a show once a week, and Hefty Duck and I, we like doing this. Even if we didn't have this, we probably would be doing this once a week. But even if you put that off to the side, it's part of the deal. You got to do a show once a week. And when you're in July, there really isn't a lot to talk about. So you got to think of stuff to do. And I think showing off this video from one of my street hockey tournaments that I've had in June of 2017 was a fun way to fill some time in the show. Because you got to do that when it's July and there's not a lot to talk about the Blue Jackets. So, Hefty Duck, you got anything to say about this video?
Oh, nothing more.
Nope.
I said a little bit earlier there.
All right, then.
Got my piece.
All right, then. So, I'm going to quickly check my bookmarks to see if I have. Check the bookmarks to see if there's anything else. Let's see here if I missed anything. Let's see here. Okay. We'll put this up on the screen. So, according to Mark Shy, who's one of the people in the Blue Jackets, in the Columbus media. The Blue Jackets, more specifically to the Monsters, could be getting someone. Whether that's true or not, we'll find out. But at least according to Mark Scheig, the Monsters and the Blue Jackets could be getting someone. Defenseman Will Bishop, who's played in the Ontario Hockey League up in Canada, and he's 6'6", and he's a right shot defenseman. And if you've been following anything with the Blue Jackets within the last 2 years or so, especially under Don Riddell, Don Riddell likes bigger dudes, and that's the direction that the Blue Jackets have been going towards, is bigger dudes. Whether it be in the draft or some of the guys that they've signed in free agency, they're going towards bigger dudes. So in the event, if the Blue Jackets got this defenseman, Will Bishop, it would be continuing that trend of getting bigger dudes. So just wanted to throw that one out there. Let's see here. Oh, okay, I'm going to put this one up there. This did better. I put this tweet out there, and it did way better than expected. Get rid of this. Okay. This tweet did way better than expected, which is I put out a tweet that said, do a 21 Pilots night at a Blue Jackets game at Blue Jackets NHL. They like the Blue Jackets, and they are from Columbus, and it would make more sense than a Grateful Dead night or Jimmy Buffett night that the Blue Jackets have had. And this is no disrespect to Grateful Dead or Jimmy Buffett. Clearly, they're good at music. They've done well for themselves. But, just my opinion, I think it would make more sense if you're going to have like a music-themed night. I don't know, do the group 21 Pilots that's from Columbus and is popular and likes the Blue Jackets and just, did a big performance this past March at the Blue Jackets outdoor game and have a 21 Pilots night. That's just me, though. That's just my opinion. And the tweet did better than expected. I wasn't expecting much of this. I just kind of threw it out there. But it did better than expected because it got over 13,000 views, 13.4 to be exact, and 11 retweets and 221 likes. So just throwing that one out there. Do a 21 Pilots night at a Blue Jackets game. That's just me, though. So Blue Jackets, if you're ever listening, I think you should do a 21 Pilots night at a Blue Jackets game.
If you're ever listening, sorry.
Yeah. But 21 Pilots, they're good. They're from Columbus, and they like the Blue Jackets. So that'd be a good theme night to have, in my opinion. But that's besides the point. Anything to say about this, Hefty Duck?
No, it'd be cool. I mean, it'd be cool to see even some other Columbus type bands getting in on the action. I know they're a totally different genre, but I think Beartooth is fans as well. But I may be completely wrong about that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So just thought I'd throw that one out there. All right. Okay, so final stuff, and then Hefty Duck, we'll get out of here. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Please tell your family. Please tell your friends. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And as I always do, got to give a shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Good guy, life of the party, always fun to be with, always fun to talk to, always fun to hang out with. Love seeing you at family parties and family get-togethers and holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and so much more. You know, I wish you were still here if I could talk some hockey with you. I mean, you're a big Blackhawks guy, but the Blue Jackets became your second favorite team, and I appreciate that. And I gave you a Blue Jackets hat that you loved wearing, and you wore it a lot at your cooking job that you had. And you'd share the story about how your fellow coworkers liked your hat, and they're like, "Oh, that's a cool hat. What's that?" And you're like, "Oh, it's a Blue Jackets hat. Hockey. My nephew gave it to me." And they're like, "Oh, that's a cool hat." And you tell me about that. And that's cool. So I wish you're still here. Unfortunately, you're not. You died last September. But I wish you're still here so I could talk hockey with you and see how your thoughts on the Blackhawks season went and your thoughts on the draft and so much more. And I could tell you my thoughts on how I think the Blue Jackets season went and the draft and so much more. So rest in peace to my awesome Uncle Doc. Shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Thank you for everything. So thank you for everything. So this upcoming Wednesday, which is Wednesday, July 16th, 2025, the hockey schedules are coming out. So we're going to find out when the Blue Jackets start their season. Will it be on the road? Will it be home? I don't know, but we'll find out. But when we do find out, that means that we will know the next date for the next Union Blue Soldiers March. And you've seen the video that I played many, many, many times. And I'm going to play it again because you should want to go to this. So I'm going to turn that off for a sec. I am going to put this up on the screen. So here we go. So we're going to share it. We're going to put it up on the screen. So here we go. So we're going to go. Why? Oh, okay. So just a touch. So here we go. So these are just different videos that we've had from different marketers over the years. And it's for the Blue Jackets home opener. And when the hockey schedules come out, we'll know when the next one is. But you should go to the Union Blue Soldiers March anyways, because it's a lot of fun. It's a great time to be with your fellow Blue Jackets fans. So here's the video. So you can see, look, we got tons of Blue Jackets fans here. At least probably 100. It's been on TV. It's been on radio. It's been on, the Columbus Dispatch. And if you've been to a Blue Jackets game within the last at least 5 to 7 years, you've seen it on the scoreboard at a Blue Jackets game. It's been featured in ticket commercials during Blue Jackets games. We have it on TV. There's Clay Hall from ABC 6 News interviewing people. Stinger has showed up. This is the event that you want to come to. This is the event that you want to come to. The Union Blue Soldiers March, every Blue Jackets home opener. It's a fun time with your fellow Blue Jackets fans. Check it out. Check it out. Check out the Union Blue Soldiers March. It'll be this upcoming October for the Blue Jackets home opener. So again, check it out. Check out the Union Blue Soldiers March. So check it out. And of course, gotta hold Okay, I'm gonna move this off the screen again. There you go. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. That's all I have to say is check out Union Blue Soldiers. All right, that's it for me for now. Hefty Duck will say his things and we can get out of here.
Hell yeah. So, this has been yet another episode of the Brew Jackets. So, don't forget to check us out on social media, like Kevin said earlier. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, I think we still technically have a TikTok. We don't mess with it because we don't get too sure about TikTok, but because we're old guys. But
Yeah.
no. Thanks everyone for watching. Yeah, dude, I had something else I was gonna say, and I just, as soon as I was trying to think of it, gone out my head. Damn, I'm gonna think of it as soon as. Oh yeah, I know what it is. Check me out on Twitter at Lance_Schrock SCHROCK. Check me out on Instagram Lance.Schrock.tattoos. I am the sponsor of the show, so go check me out. I would appreciate it if y'all want to stop by. It's always worth driving a good bit for some good work. So check me out. Come get tattooed, or you're a loser. So thank y'all again. And we'll see you here 1 week from today on July 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So have a good one, y'all.